feminists. And it has been horrific to watch the self-proclaimed feminists, a la Emma Watson, the person who was made essentially by the wizarding world of Harry Potter, who says to the public that she's a feminist, how quickly she was willing to throw J.K. Rowling under the bus.
Once a celebrated figure in Hollywood's feminist movement, Emma Watson now faces significant backlash.
Followers, she's a big celebrity. She wanted her Instagram feed to look nice while showing support for BLM. They savaged her because, well, one, because it was just slacktivism.
Adored by fans and praised for her activism, she's now criticised by the public and appears distanced from her career roots. The legacy of her association with Harry Potter may be slipping away. Emma Watson, best known as Hermione Granger, built a brand on progressive ideals, advocating for women's rights, environmentalism, and other trendy causes.
UN Secretary General, President of the General Assembly, Executive Director of UN Women, and distinguished guests. Today, we are launching a campaign called He for She. I am reaching out to you because we need your help. We want to end gender inequality.
For years, she was seen as Hollywood's woke queen, a symbol of modern activism. However, her once pristine image has come under scrutiny. The turning point came when Watson publicly distanced herself from Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling. Despite Rowling being instrumental in her rise to fame, Watson showed no loyalty when the author voiced her views on gender and biological sex. Rowling's statement sparked a firestorm online, with activists and Hollywood elites condemning her. Instead of staying neutral or engaging in private discussions, what
the answer to this question would be, but, do you feel comfortable with me using, female toilets?
My God, of course. I would.
Does that depend on me having had surgery?
No.
What would you say? I don't want to dwell on this for too long, but what would you say to those people who would have an issue sharing a public bathroom?
Watson made her disagreement public. Critics argue this move alienated her longtime fans, with many questioning her motivations and loyalty. The fallout has tarnished her carefully curated image, raising doubts about her standing in Hollywood's activist circles. Emma Watson allied herself with Hollywood's progressive agenda, releasing statements in support of trans identities, including sentiments like, "Trans people are who they say they are." At first glance, her words seemed like a courageous stand, but her apparent lack of loyalty to J.K. Rowling didn't go unnoticed. Rowling, who had helped make Watson a household name, faced widespread criticism for her views on gender and biological sex. Instead of showing support or even neutrality, Watson distanced herself, an act many viewed as a betrayal.
It's been crazy.
Rowling responded indirectly, taking aim at celebrities who embraced movements she believed undermined women's rights. In a sharp rebuke, Rowling implied that apologies from stars like Watson and Daniel Radcliffe
people to examine their own privilege.
Social media is a really interesting space, and I'm always trying to figure out how to take care of myself, self-care. Reading comments that are intended to be nothing other than cruel and unkind is not good for my psyche on a daily basis.
Does it get to you?
However, oh my goodness, yeah.
would be meaningless. It was more than a disagreement. It felt like an all-out betrayal. Fans quickly took notice, calling Watson a hypocrite who
met, and I'm in contact with a 6-year-old trans child. That also really hit it home in a different, in a really different way of realising.
It makes it real. There's a real people at the heart of these discussions.
conveniently abandoned her feminist values when it suited her image. But Watson didn't stop there. She leaned further into Hollywood's activist culture, taking up...
Clip is a bit ridiculous. Like, it is so dramatized. And the way that the interviewer asks the question, like, would you be comfortable with me using the toilet? It's like, Emma can't answer any other way.
Yes, sir.
Just the whole thing is a bit strange. And I don't necessarily agree with Emma's sentiment, but I'm not shocked by
increasingly controversial causes. One instance was her advocacy for trans children, including publicly recounting her experience meeting a 6-year-old trans child. While she claimed the encounter reshaped her views on gender, the internet wasn't impressed. Critics argued it was wildly inappropriate and questioned her judgment, further damaging her credibility. Labelling a child as young as 6 as transgender sparked widespread controversy. Critics argued that children that young couldn't possibly grasp the complexities of gender identity, accusing advocates of promoting harmful ideologies to align with Hollywood's progressive narrative. Emma Watson's decision to champion such a divisive cause alienated many fans, who questioned whether her activism was genuine or a ploy to remain in the spotlight. The cracks in her image as a beloved feminist role model grew deeper, and the internet was quick to react. But Watson's transformation didn't end there.
How am I going to tell everyone's stories so effectively that peace is possible or more war is impossible, because everyone can see that everyone is the same and they can't be at war with each other? More than ever, I need to be around other artists that are being activists in their spaces.
Right.
I need to be connected to, people that are sharing the I didn't sleep last night either.
Yeah.
Things took an even stranger turn when she shared a baffling Instagram post that left fans stunned. In a lengthy and cryptic message,
"Are you sure that's a real spell? Well, it's not very good, is it?"
The
she
internet did what
thanked
it
the
does
planet
best.
Saturn for changing her life. According to astrology, a Saturn return occurs when Saturn aligns with someone's birth chart, supposedly bringing significant life changes. Emma claimed her Saturn return had been a transformative experience, teaching her profound lessons about womanhood. The post didn't stop at astrology. It was packed with odd details, including how she accidentally cut off her thumbnails while cooking, and her involvement.
I never believed the whole "I'm happy single" spiel. I was like, this is spiel.
Yeah.
This is totally
Isn't
spiel.
it interesting, the stuff that we take
I
in and then have to
know.
unpack?
It took me a long time, but I'm very happy. I call it being self-partnered.
Right. Joe, I've got a really stupid question on here, and you don't have to answer it.
With witches in a coven. Fans were left reeling, unsure if they were witnessing a spiritual awakening or an identity crisis. For many, this bizarre revelation further eroded the once polished image of the star they admired. The once rational Emma Watson, the girl who brought Hermione Granger to life, was now talking about astrology and witches. This wasn't the Emma fans remembered. The internet, unsurprisingly, pounced on her bizarre Instagram post, calling it insane and questioning if Hollywood had pushed her over the edge. Some fans were heartbroken, while others were brutally honest, seeing the post as a sign Emma was losing her grip on reality. This wasn't the calculated, articulate feminist they had admired for years. It was someone seemingly lost in Hollywood's web of spiritual trends and eccentric fads. But it didn't stop there. In 2019, Emma sparked further debate by declaring herself self-partnered. Instead of simply saying she was single, she coined a new term that divided opinion. Some fans found it empowering, while others saw it as yet another example of Hollywood's obsession with buzzwords and meaningless slogans. Self-partnered quickly became a viral joke on social media, with critics mocking it as a shallow attempt to rebrand singleness as groundbreaking. What was once seen as Emma's authenticity now felt like a parody of itself. Instead of inspiring her audience, she was alienating them. Her partnered declaration might have been intended to project strength, but to many, it came off as the ultimate Hollywood cliché. Fans and critics alike questioned if Emma was out of touch with the very people who once idolized her. And just when it seemed things couldn't get worse, her challenges were about to take a more personal turn. HBO had something in store for her that would only add to her struggles, leaving fans wondering what had happened to the Emma they once adored. HBO recently announced a Harry Potter television reboot, and guess who's the executive producer? J.K. Rowling. The twist? Emma Watson and the original cast were not invited to be part of the project. HBO plans to cast new actors to play the iconic roles of Harry, Hermione, and Ron, leaving Emma sidelined. Fans of Rowling are calling this the ultimate revenge, as Emma's attempt to distance herself from the author has spectacularly backfired. The very franchise Emma tried to cancel herself from is now under Rowling's control, and Emma has no part in it. For Rowling supporters, this reboot feels like poetic justice. Emma's actions against the author
Who would do anything
only
to stay
pushed
in
her
the spotlight.
further away from the very franchise that made her a household name. Now, as new actors step into Hermione's shoes, Emma's iconic role is slowly fading, and many fans aren't shy about saying this is what she deserves.
I'm here for
But the
all
real
of
issue
the witches.
lies in Emma's hypocrisy. For years, she built her brand on progressive ideals: feminism, social justice, and mental health awareness. She claimed to stand for it all. Yet, when she threw Rowling under the bus, her carefully crafted image began to crumble. Critics pointed out how Emma, a supposed feminist, turned her back on one of the most successful female authors in the world to stay in line with Hollywood's woke agenda. Her stances on trans rights and outlandish social media rants only worsened her image. Fans began to see her as a Hollywood puppet, willing to do anything to stay relevant. And honestly, the internet wasn't wrong. Emma Watson quickly became labelled a hypocrite who had abandoned her true values in favour of whatever cause would get her the most attention. Her fans weren't just disappointed, they were angry. Once the golden girl of Harry Potter, Emma was now facing relentless criticism. Social media exploded with disillusioned fans expressing how much they missed the old Emma, the one who stood for real issues and didn't rely on Hollywood trends to stay relevant. They questioned her every move, ridiculed her astrology post, and called her out for turning on J.K. Rowling. Emma, once Hollywood's feminist darling, was now facing the wrath of her own fan base. Her decisions didn't just hurt her image, they shattered it. Hollywood's loyalty only went so far, and Emma was learning that the hard way. At the end of the day, Emma Watson's fall from grace is a classic example of Hollywood hypocrisy. She built her brand on wokeness and social justice, yet her actions revealed someone willing to sacrifice her values and the people who supported her for a little extra praise from Hollywood elites. The lesson here is clear. Woke or not, your past will catch up with you. No amount of performative activism can save you when the receipts start rolling in. If you think Emma got what she deserved, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content exposing Hollywood's most shocking celebrities.